Deliberations today shall take place in the spirit of mutual trust, so that we as leaders shall lead our country on the path of peace and shall find solutions for issues and problems facing us. Grant us the mercy, O Lord, that we shall today also honor thy name in all we think, do, and say. Almighty God, we pray thee, bless our land and all its people. This all we pray in the name of Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Affirmation. I solemnly affirm that I will be faithful to the Republic of Namibia and its people, and I solemnly promise to uphold and defend the Constitution and laws of the Republic of Namibia to the best of my ability. Any messages from the head of state? Any petitions? Reports of standing or select committees? Or reports of standing or select committees? Yes, please. Report, Honorable Jonas.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I lay upon the table for discussion on Thursday, 18 June 2026, report on the motion on the oversight visit to the mining sector to assess the impact of the outsourcing of jobs, condition of services for employees and communities. I so move, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, please table the report, Honorable Member. They are brothers. Other reports and papers? Notices of questions? Honorable Mbundu? Yeah.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, one moment, Honorable Mbundu.
Oh.
Yeah, that's very good. Wait, I will give you the floor to say that. That's the important point. Yes, Honorable Ampanda.
We have the Namibia-Italy Friendship Association have only given that Italy. So we also want to benefit from the.
Yes, the honorable members must advise where the others can get it. Yeah, now, Honorable, sorry, Honorable Member, is he making a point of privilege? Yes. Honorable Fubu, yeah, you have the floor.
Yeah, thanks, Honorable Speaker. I thought we agreed that today being Thursday, we will go straight to this Bible without going to the routine of the House of notices of questions. Yes, we're already at that stage of others trying to submit their questions.
Okay, allow Honorable Ipumbu to finish making his point, please.
So I think with the ministers that are present, we can go ahead with them. And then the ones that are absent, perhaps they are still on their way here. And then we can still go back to this way. Because seriously, the nation is out there waiting to hear the answers. Otherwise, if we continue now posting questions, where will we end up? What are we doing? We only have 8 days to go for recess. Yeah, please.
Very good. Are we agreed? Very good. Okay, Honorable Ampanda. Why are you angry, Honorable Member? Yes, Honorable Ampanda, you have the floor.
No, I think Honorable Ipumbu is not wrong. He just needs to be directed to the correct room.
Yeah.
What is the correct room? Thursday, the rule says questions will take precedence. You are correct. But where you are wrong is that the order, not order of the day eventually, but the routine. We immediately go to questions after the routine. So you are correct, but just you are in the C1. You must now come to the think room.
Yes, Honorable Ampanda, I hear you, but what I hear Honorable Ipumbu saying, and it's up to us to decide whether that's what we agreed or not. I don't know why Honorable Kambara is shaking his head. He likes to be heard, but he doesn't like to hear others. But what the Honorable Ipumbu is saying is, he said he thought we agreed. So it means that it can be agreed. So the members can say, no, we don't. We are not saying we are prohibited from doing that. Because the point he's making is important. We need to take note of that, and I hope that the chief whips will discuss this matter in the chief whips meetings. Honorable members, yeah. No. I am saying that I cannot impose it on the House. The chief whips can discuss it there and can agree or disagree. But the only point that I'm making here is that the value of an opportunity to ask a question lies in the opportunity to get an answer. If you are every day given an opportunity to ask a question, but you are never given any answer to the questions you are posing, you are as good as not given an opportunity to ask a question. So I will leave it there and leave it to the chief whips to deal with. Now I proceed with Honorable. So Honorable, the next one is
5th of June 2026. I shall ask the Minister of Works and Transport, Honorable Veiko Nekundi, the following. Honorable Speakers, Namibia's national roads have increasingly become sites of tragic and avoidable loss of life, with the B1 corridor and other key highways recording serious and repeated fatal accidents. This situation demands urgent infrastructure intervention, not only enforcement. But if we are serious about protecting lives, then our main transport arteries must match the traffic volume, economic growth, and safety risk the way they carry. I wish to ask the Honorable Minister the following question. Question number 1, does the Ministry have comprehensive national plan to upgrade Namibia's main highway corridors, particularly the B1 from Oranjemund through Windhoek to Oshikango into dual carriageway or divided highway standard? Question 2, what is the current feasibility status, including engineering studies and cost estimate, and expanding full north, west, and east economic corridors, especially Oranjemund to Oshikango, B1 corridor, and Valvisby to Katima Mulilo, Trans-Caprivi corridors? Question 3, what are the main financial, technical, and implementation constraints preventing the expansion of these highways into safe multi-line roads, given the rising rate of fatal road accidents? 4th, what immediate short-term safe intervention in the ministry implementing on these corridors to reduce road fatalities, while long-term expansion plans are being considered or executed? I so submit.
yes, Honorable Member may table the question. Honorable Lucato.
My relative sister, Honorable Speaker, Member of Parliament, leaders of various political parties, good day, and thank you for the platform. Today, Thursday, 18 June 2026, I hereby give note that on Thursday, 25 June 2026, I shall ask the Minister of Health and Social Services, my relative sister, Honorable Dr. Esperance Luvindao, the following question on consent regarding patient death following surgical procedures at Ngwendiva Med Park Hospital. Honorable Minister, it is with great concern that reports continue to emerge from members of the public regarding the number of patients who allegedly lost their lives following surgical procedure performed at Ngwendiva Med Park Hospital. Given the seriousness of these allegations and they have created among members of public, could the Honorable Minister answer the following questions? Number one, how many patients lost their lives through surgery in Ngwendiva Med Park Hospital in the past 5 years? Two, whether the ministry has investigated or received reports regarding the number of patient deaths associated with surgical procedures performed at Ngwendiva Med Park Hospital. Number three, how do the mortality and the surgical complication rates of Ngwendiva Med Park Hospital compare with those of other public and private hospitals in Namibia? Number four, whether the ministry will conduct an independent and comprehensive investigation into the causes of patient deaths occurring after operations at the hospital. Number five, whether the qualifications, professional registrations and completeness of all medical practitioners performing surgical procedures at the hospital have been verified and found to comply with the standards required by the ministry. The last is second, whether the ministry will inspect and assess the hospital's medical requirements surgical facilities. The last one, number seven, if serious are identified, what corrective measures will be the ministry take? I so submit, Honourable Speaker.
Please table the questions, Honourable. Yes, Honourable Kandorodo. Oh, Honourable Ampanda.
Honourable Speaker, Article 100 of the Namibian Constitution establishes state sovereignty and ultimate title over all natural resources within Namibia's jurisdictional boundaries. This constitutional imperative designates the state as a default owner of resources not currently under lawful private ownership, while protecting pre-existing vested property rights. More than a decade ago, the Namibian government established the Pangelo Mining Company, of which it is a sole shareholder. As one of the largest producers of uranium, diamonds, and base metals such as copper and zinc, Namibia has, unfortunately, a mining sector in which the state's ownership is heavily skewed towards foreign entities, with more than 80% of all mining assets controlled by international companies. The President, Her Excellency Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, has promised to ensure that Namibia's mineral resources are strategically exploited and optimally beneficiated to provide equitable opportunities for all Namibians to participate in the industry if true. Although Epangelo Mining was declared a state-owned enterprise in 2013 under the Public Enterprise Governance Act, there is still no explicit governance framework to regulate its affairs. Against this background, notice is hereby given that on Thursday, June 25, 2026, I shall ask the Minister of Oil, Minister Modesto Chitumbechance, the following. Why does the Pangelo Mining still lack a comprehensive, formalized governance framework to regulate its operation despite being established over a decade ago through a cabinet resolution? The Pangelo Mining current operational model could be restructured to execute the definitive timeline for when a legal framework A Pangelo Mining's current operational model could be restructured to execute the President's undertaking on local natural resources beneficiation. Can the Minister provide a definitive timeline for when a legal framework for Pangelo Mining will be tabled in the National Assembly? Even the Investment Promotion Board has now a bill that is coming to Parliament that is established less than 5 years ago. How is the ministry operationalizing Article 100 of the Namibian Constitution to ensure that the Pangelo effectively secures strategic state ownership and significant equity over key mineral resources? It's so submitted, Honorable Speaker.
Okay, you may table the question. Honorable members, don't risk being interrupted before you finish posing your questions. Make them as brief as possible. Ne? Honorable Licando Roderick.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I hereby give notice that on the 25th of June 2026, I shall ask the Honorable Minister of Environment, Forest and Tourism the following questions. Honorable Speaker, the 2021 Auditor General's Environmental Performance Audit on Waste Management exposed critical failures by this ministry, including a total lack of specialized hazardous waste laws, unlicensed municipal dumps, and unmonitored toxic waste generators. Crucially, the report revealed that a vast majority of local authorities are acting in direct violation of state laws by operating public dump sites without mandatory environmental clearance certificate, while failing to track or regulate up to 67% of hazardous industrial waste generators in their towns. Half a decade later, these local government failures remain largely unaddressed, leaving toxic compounds and medical waste to openly commingle with household refuse and poison our fragile water tables. I therefore put the following questions to the Honorable Minister. Why has the ministry failed to finalize and table the standalone National Hazardous Waste Management Regulation in this Parliament since 2021? What punitive or administrative measures has the ministry taken against the numerous local authorities that continue to illegally operate municipal landfills without mandatory environmental clearance certificates? And how many toxic generators as commercial garages, manufacturing plants and medical clinics have been formally registered and audited by the ministry since 2021? What independent physical monitoring mechanisms has the ministry implemented to regulate hazardous mining tailings and chemical effluents rather than relying on corporate self-regulation? What collaborative interventions have been established with the Ministry of Health to stop the rampant open burning and dumping of biohazardous medical waste? How many dedicated regional environmental inspectors are currently employed by the ministry? Honorable Speaker, I so submit.
Yes, please take the questions. Now, Honorable Kandorodu indicated his question is oral. Honorable Venani, yours is oral. Okay. Honorable Kandorodu.
Yeah, thank you so much, Speaker. My oral agent go to my Shira, Minister of Information, Honorable Emma Chufanes. It's two in one. One is about telecom and one is about NBC. Only one.
No, one.
So can I link?
If they are the same,
Okay.
if they are similar, but if they are different aspects.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
The discretion is still yours.
Yeah.
NBC 3 towers are currently not in operational at all, being Erongo Mountains, Brucaros, almost a year now, and Parieses, more than 6 months, meaning these communities have been denied access to information due to maintenance issue, replacement of batteries, lack of helicopters from NBC, from the government, so technicians are unable to do anything at these towers. Are you aware about this situation? And if you are, what are you going to do about it? On the issue of telecom, 3 days ago, you celebrated the agreement between Telecom Namibia and Angola, which is a good thing, but if my mind served me very well, in 2005, Telecom acquired around about 44% shares in partnership with Mundo Starter, and this for worth of 162 million. And that deal collapsed and Telecom lost money. Are you sure that the current agreement that you have entered is not going to replicate the one of 2005? I so submit.
So that one is unrelated, Honorable Member. So you only pose the one question in terms of the rules.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member, my Shira wannabe, who I think is wearing the kente cloth in recognition of Her Excellency the President's presence in Ghana today. So thank you for your solidarity. Your two questions, I think I'll answer the NBC one. Yes, I am aware that transmission has been off of late in the Orongo Mountains and the Parecis area. I've spoken to both governors about the issue. The governor's officers, we are coordinating to support NBC. And you're very right, the issues are around maintaining the towers. The location where they are situated is quite remote. It requires helicopters to take the technicians up there to maintain it. Thankfully now the budget has been gazetted. That process has kicked in for us to get the assistance of either commercial helicopters and the equipment needed for their maintenance, or if that amount is unreasonable, we've looked in the way of the Namibian police force and their fleet of helicopters to assist. So the process is still ongoing. We have asked the communities to be patient with us. Particularly this message has been brought to the people through the governor's office while we are attending to the matter. But it's one we're taking very seriously, and to ensure that the network or the frequency is restored in those areas. So we are looking into it. Thank you for asking the question, Honorable.
Very good. Honorable Benani.
Honorable Speaker, I rise to ask a question, quite a repetitive question to the Minister of Gender, the Honorable Dr. Emma Kantema. It is in relation with probably the only matter that I have with Gender Ministry is what is happening in our schools in terms of school-going girls getting menstrual pads. You remember when I asked this question probably a year ago again, you told me that you were launching a project in Cape Manzop or somewhere in the south, and I'm also a patron of a number of schools in the country. And I'm seeing that this is a recurrent problem where a lot of our young girls are missing schools because they have no access to these pads. What is the current status of your ministry in dealing with this matter? Because it's a very long-standing matter that I brought motions. Matthew Fellas also assisted me trying to get those pads tax ready. Sanitary towels. Of course, I'm not a woman to know the correct names. Yeah, I am a father to girls, and that's why I fight for them all the time. But be that as it may, just please appraise us. Where are we? Are we winning the fight? What needs to be done? What support do you need from a very good legislator like myself to get things going? Because if schools that are in urban centers are struggling, my heart goes to those schools in the rural communities, on Jambara, Kachina, wherever they are. What is really happening, and why can't we arrest this situation and be able to have a strong policy and measures that can be able to improve the situation?
Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Thank you very much, Honorable Benani. As I indicated when you posed the question last year, that we were working together with three ministries: Ministry of Education and all the other mandates entrusted to that particular ministry, because of the ongoing program that they have to support the girls for sanitary, but also the boys for kids pertaining to hygiene. We also then had on board the Ministry of Health and Social Services and the Ministry of Finance. So prior to your question, it was a time that we were preparing for the launch, and this launch was done in Keetmanshoop. Why in Keetmanshoop? We looked at the report that was done. There was a study done, but it was for all regions. So what we did after the launch, we dispatched the sanitary pads to the Office of the Governors, who are then best placed under the Regional Council to identify where the need lies. And I've received good reports. Some regions have confirmed to us how they've distributed, and some regions, even though they've not confirmed, but they did receive receipt, because we did not want to be the ones responsible to oversee the program, but rather at the grassroots level. So at the time when the Right Honorable Prime Minister launched this program, he then indicated that we endeavor to do it as an annual exercise to already complement the program that's being offered by the Ministry of Education. So the office, my office then, together with the ministry, we were responsible to ensure that we launched this project. We made provision financially, and our intention is to roll it out every year. So that's where we are in terms of our initiatives to address the plight of the girl child as far as sanitary towels are concerned. I hope I have answered your question. If not, I'm still willing to share more. We can still continue to engage. If you have other ideas that you think we can pursue, we are on it.
Yes, it's a follow-up question, Honorable Member. Yeah, only follow-up question.
Personality and academic in your own right. When you are saying you have launched a project, fine and well, we have launched. What is happening on a monthly level? Are these pads or sanitary towels being received by schools? Because I'm talking about schools that I happen to have some supervisory role, that are saying we don't get anything from the regions. So I want to know that, yes, the project was launched, yes, the ministry are coordinating. What is happening on a monthly level, and what is lacking so that schools don't get those things?
Yes.
What's the impact?
Honorable Minister.
As I indicated, we dispatched it to the regions. And Honorable Member, the Ministry of Gender Equality and Child Welfare has delegated its function to the Regional Council. We have officers in the region. And with that said, this is a program that's being administered at the regional level. So perhaps what I can do is to request for a report in terms of the impact, to request for feedback, how the sanitary towels were distributed, and if the social workers in the particular regions have more queries or more, they've identified the more need where we need to have targeted interventions, obviously something that we'll address. But worth to mention is the Ministry of Education, who are closer to the school children, really are overseeing also this program. So perhaps what we can do is to have a combined report so that we can allay your fears in terms of this much needed
Very good.
commodity.
Very good. Let's agree that that is done. I think in terms of delegation, the delegated instance is required to provide periodic feedback to the delegating authority on how the function is being implemented. I think that's good. Now, I thought the list was exhausted. Honorable Ampel, is it next one? Notice of motions?
Yes.
Okay, notice of motion.
Honorable Speaker, I rise on behalf of Honorable Modestus Amte in terms of Rule 232 of the Standing Rules, Orders and Internal Arrangement, that a motion tabled by Honorable Amte as appearing on the order paper that the National Assembly discusses, decides and recommends that we test this proposition by establishing what we spend annually on importing ICT tools and services and how it impacts our data sovereignty and national security is hereby withdrawn. This motion was tabled when Honorable Amte was a backbencher. He is now at the dining table of the executive as the Minister of Industries, Mines and Energy. Honorable Amte thus requests that this motion be removed from the order paper with immediate effect for ease of congestion of the order paper. It is so submitted, Honorable Speaker.
I know, Honorable Ampada, sorry, go. That one, I reserve my ruling. Yes, because for the following reason. Honorable Amte is the minister, is deputized, the deputy minister is here. The honorable member who is moving the motion on behalf of Honorable Amte is not even a member of, they are not both executives or non-executives. So there is nothing that can help me in the absence of evidence to confirm that that delegation had taken place. There is nothing that enables me to do that. So, honorable member, you will have to assist me, especially when it involves withdrawing a motion that was tabled by someone. You would have to provide me with evidence that shows, and then I will ask you to table. Then, at that time, when you have done so.
Okay, so Speaker, I'm delegated in terms of Rule 223.
No, I have now ruled to say, just help me to get that evidence that you have been delegated, and then I will accept the notice.
Okay, you said, and you are saying it's because I'm not a member of the executive?
Because first, there is no evidence, and two, there is nothing that I can use to link you to Honorable Amte. If the deputy, yes, to say, you are either, this is a report that was supposed to be tabled by a chairperson of a committee, now this member is delegated on behalf of a committee, or this is a deputy member, yes.
Speaker, in terms of Rule 200, the rule that I cited,
yes.
Rule 200, the rule 232, a member, you are now awake, DST. A member may, if so authorized by another member not present, give a notice on the last mentioned member's behalf of a question or motion. That's what I did in terms of the rule, Speaker.
Yes, but you are withdrawing a notice that was tabled.
So Speaker, can I table my motion and then you consider? You always rule like that. You reserve your right to make a ruling.
No, this one is too extraordinary, Honorable Member.
Extraordinary.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, no, it's fine.
But Honorable Member, you see, like I said,
no, it's fine.
Let me just finish ruling. Let me just finish ruling. I did not just dismiss. You may take your seat. I did not just dismiss. I don't say it will not be entertained. I'm just saying, because I'm not in a position, I wouldn't even know what I'm going to look for in order to verify that that's a delegation. So I put the burden of responsibility on you to provide me with evidence that you have been delegated by that member. And then I would enable.
Now. I have his number.
No, I don't accept that one.
Oh.
Yes.
Minister, where is your evidence?
Yes. So no, that one is yesterday, Honorable Member.
Okay, no, it's fine. I accept your ruling. Your ruling is that number one, Speaker. I also want, in terms of Rule 150, to be on record. Number one, I'm not a member of the executive. There is nothing in the hands of the Speaker to link me to the minister. I accept the ruling that the Speaker requires evidence in order to admit. So I accept your ruling, Speaker. Exactly. Thank you very much, Speaker. I just want, in terms of 154, so that it will be recorded. I accept that I'm not arguing with my Speaker. Thank you.
Very good, very good. Thank you. Now, we proceed to notices of, any further notice of motion? Are this the list, eh? Yes. Honorable Klassen. Who is that one?
Good afternoon, Honorable Speaker, members of the House. I move in terms of Rule 124, Paragraph 8, read together with Rule 76, Paragraph 1D of the Standing Rules, Orders and Internal Arrangements of the National Assembly, that leave of absence be granted to Honorable Alexia Manumbe for 18 June 2026 while on official business. I so move, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Lucato.
Honorable Speaker, members of Parliament, Today, Thursday, 18 June 2026, I hereby give notice that on Wednesday, 24 June 2026, I shall move that this August House discuss and agrees to table the motion on the establishment of timber factories in the following 3 regions because of its resources. That's Kavango East, Kavango West, and the Kavango and the Zambezi region. I so move, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Mvula.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable members, good afternoon. I hereby give notice that on the 25th of June 2026, I shall move the following. Across Namibia, many citizens voluntarily dedicate their time, skills, and personal resources to rescue operations, emergency responses, disaster relief, crime prevention support, and other community safety initiatives. These efforts more than often complement government delivery of critical assistance to communities during emergencies. Despite their valuable contribution, many of these initiatives operate with limited resources and rely largely on private funding. In conformity with Article 32, sub-article H or 32H of our Constitution, it is therefore imperative that this House explores mechanisms through which deserving citizen-led initiatives receive recognition and appropriate support from the state. I therefore move that this Honourable House adopts and refers this matter to the relevant Parliamentary Standing Committee for consideration and recommendations. I so move.
Yes, Honorable Kambala.
I rise on behalf of Honorable Inge Zamani County in terms of Rule 232 of the Standing Rules and orders on the internal arrangements that the motion tabled by Honorable Kamwi is available on the order paper requesting the National Assembly to approve the appointment of members of the Land Tribunal for a period of 3 years is withdrawn. This motion is not only been overtaken by events, but it will also await the commencement of the Land Act, which this Assembly will soon pass. I so submit, Honorable Speaker. Okay, not accepted, Honorable Member. That one declined also for the same reasons as those cited in regard to the motion. Excuse me, Speaker, I can't. No, will not be accepted because you will need to provide evidence of the delegation from the minister for you to withdraw a motion that she tabled. Okay, Speaker, can I just have it on record? Can we have it on record, Speaker, please? No? To have what on record? No, your ruling. That to have, what do you mean if we can have it on record? No, to be on record that... What does it mean to have it on record? Oh, for the answer to be benefited as... Meaning what? Is there any, are you saying that things are recorded on request? Are recordings on... I don't disagree. I don't understand what you are saying. Now can you take a seat? I don't understand what you are asking me to do. Yeah. So please, I don't. And you know, you see, very good. I like that part at least because I think you know what you are doing. On a lighter note, is okay. Yes, please. Yes.
Last week, when you were not here, Honorable Pohamba Shifeta moved a motion and tabled it here about the ECN. But Honorable Pohamba Shifeta is not a member of the executive, and on that day he did not give any proof that he was delegated, while the minister in the office of the president is sitting here, the prime minister was here, the chief whip was here, but what requirements did Pohamba Shifeta pass for him to table a motion with no proof that he was really delegated? Now, while other members are being denied the same opportunities that was accorded to Honorable Pohamba, the same non-executive members like the rest. Maybe can you elaborate how was it done to advance or to give opportunity to Honorable Pohamba Shifeta? Just a clarity for us to learn.
Yeah. First, there was a ruling made by the presiding officer. In terms of the rules, the presiding officer may be requested to explain their ruling, in which case that request for explanation ought to have been given to the member that was presiding. Yeah? And if it is found, even on second thought, after a ruling was made, that that ruling may be in violation of any rule or any law, in terms of the rules, that ruling can be overturned by the Assembly on the recommendation of the Standing Rules Committee. But what the rules don't provide for is to ask presiding officers to explain the rulings made in their absence by other presiding officers. So you can't ask me to explain the ruling that was made by Honorable Katamela. Yes. Yes. Yes, Honorable.
Yeah, thank you very much, Speaker. I think we take the principle. We take the principle, and that's the principle that we want to be able to move with. And it's a very important principle for the Assembly, and we applaud our Speaker for enforcing the basic principles of evidence. Anybody who comes to this Parliament who purports to be carrying out a responsibility or mandate from another office, they must be able to provide the evidence. So it's a very important principle. We don't want to argue with it. And the principle from our Speaker that we have since established, and we are going to proceed with that.
I just want to clarify. I never said that. What do you mean, oh? Why do you always do that? Yeah, that's grossly disrespectful to the House, honorable members. So what I have said, let me give you an example. The Constitution says the Prime Minister is head of government administration. For the 10 years that I have been Prime Minister, I could table anything from the government. No one can tell me that I cannot table anything from the government without providing proof. That is one. Number two, in terms of the rules, the Speaker interprets the rules and makes the ruling in as far as the presiding officer considers appropriate, so long as it's not in conflict with the rules. I cannot entertain a notice of a motion by a person attempting to withdraw an item put on the agenda by another member if I don't have the assurance that that person was duly delegated. And I cannot, because of that ruling, be now interpreted to have said broadly, ministers will now be disallowed and the Prime Minister will now be disallowed to table things that comes from the Prime Minister, Minister, or any person. I cannot say that if any person that makes a submission on behalf of another on account of this ruling today is blankly disallowed. No, I will interpret the rules on the basis of what presented on that day. So my ruling today was on that issue, and yes, using the principle. You have to prove to me, as a non-executive member, who is not represented or who is not representing Honorable Amtse, in what capacity you want to withdraw. And the honorable members, I must also indicate to you that if the presiding officer was to decide to deal with this issue in a different manner, and I could actually decide to do it in a different manner, which can create problems, I could have decided table the motion. And if it is established that the honorable members that are purported to have delegated you did not delegate you to do what you have done, that was going to constitute a violation. Yeah, no, I'm just saying so that the honorable members know. If you come here and you say, I was delegated, even as a former prime minister, if I come to this house, I collect some names from somewhere, and then I come to parliament and say, the president has appointed these people and want parliament to approve, and that is not correct, the president will hold me accountable. And even this house can hold me accountable. I just want you to know that. So don't see it as a matter of getting the speaker pinned in a certain position. It's a situation that can create very serious problems. Yeah, very good. Now, Honorable Cooper. That was just a point that was raised.
This is one point, the privilege. Honorable Kandorobo was in the House last week when the Deputy Speaker presided. And the reason for asking Honorable Boamba Shifeta was because he could not table the report or that motion from the sitting where he was presiding from. And based on Electoral Commission being Electoral Commission is one of the stakeholders of the Committee on Constitutional and Legal Affairs. And Honorable Bohamba Shifeta is the chairperson of the Committee on Constitutional and Legal Affairs. You don't need to be discussed with, because I remember Honorable Cassius Karondo in the last term was the chairperson of Constitutional and Legal Affairs, and he would bring those reports of the stakeholders. If the person who headed to table it was presiding. I so submit, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much. Please, I do not wish to continue with this discussion. You were there, you have the background. I was not there, there was a ruling made. I have made a ruling. If there was a query in regard to the decision of the presiding officer, that query ought to have been directed to that presiding officer at that time. I will not entertain any queries with regard to a specific ruling of a presiding officer. If there is a desire to deliberate on that matter, it must be taken to another platform and discussed there, so that we don't divert from what we are doing now. Please proceed with what we are presenting.
Somebody is on. Thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, I move in terms of Rule 124H, read together with Rule 76(1)(c) of the Standing Rules, Orders and Internal Arrangements of the National Assembly, that leave of absence be granted to Honorable Selma Ashipala Musavi for yesterday and today, 17 and 18 June 2026, while on official business. I so move, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, please table.
It is.
Yes. Yes, Honorable Mukapuli.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I move in terms of Rule 124H, read together with Rule 76(1) and (a) of the Standing Rules, Orders and International Arrangement of the National Assembly, that leave of absence be granted to Honorable Esperanza Lubindao for today, 18 June 2026, due to illness. I so move, Honorable Speaker.
Okay, please table the motion. Yes, Honorable Samukwa.
Honorable Speaker.
Yes, please, you have the floor. What is going on there? Honorable members, can we listen to Honorable Samukwa?
Honorable Speaker, I move in terms of Rule 124H, read together with Rule 761A of the Standing Rules, Orders and Internal Arrangements of the National Assembly that leave of absence be granted to Honorable Modestus Amutse for 18 June 2026 due to illness. I so move.
Please table the motion, Honorable Member. Please table the motion.
The man is sick. The man is sick.
Honorable members. Honorable members. Yes. Honorable Karuku.
Honorable Speaker, I move in terms of Rule 124H, read together with Rule 76, Sub-Rule 1D of the Standing Rules, Order and Internal Arrangements of the National Assembly, that leave of absence be granted to Honorable Dr. Sanet Steenkamp for 18 June 2026 while on official duty. I so move, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, please table the motion. Yes, just a moment, let him table. Yes, the Honorable Venan.
This is the problem, Honorable Speaker, and I want you to make a ruling. Since time immemorial, members of cabinet of the executive are represented by the chief whip of the government business. Their absentia, their leaves would be authorized by the chief whip of the government business. Ordinary backbenchers cannot be allowed, just as you ruled Honorable Amupanda, Dr. Amupanda out of order. You cannot allow a backbencher to move a motion on behalf of a minister. It's never done. It's not done. They are supposed to do it. They can't delegate that power. That's why he has the power of being a chief whip of government business. Now, if you say, you are an elder. No, it's not the question of my respect to you is known. We shouldn't worry about my finger. Honorable Amupanda, you are just confusing. Honorable Amupanda moved a motion, perpetuating, that's the correct English, perpetuating that he represents a minister. The Speaker in her right judgment was correct to say, hey, you are not a member of cabinet. How can you be allowed to move a motion on behalf of a member of cabinet? But the Speaker does not make a ruling when ordinary backbenchers are moving a motion on behalf of members of cabinet while they are not in cabinet. And yet, even if they come from SWAPO, they are not members of the cabinet.
Thank you, Honorable. Thank you, Honorable Venani. You ought to have checked your fact first before you make the assertions that you just did. Now, just one moment, Honorable Naruseb. In terms of Rule 76, yeah, all these motions that were tabled by the non-executive MPs from the SWAPO benches were made in terms of Rule 76 concerning leave of absence from sittings of the Assembly. And that Rule 76 says that 1, the Assembly may grant a member leave of absence if, and then it lists the instances, and then under F, it says, and the member's chief whip or party whip agrees. Now, when you started to raise your query, I took a look at this form, and this one has a signature of Honorable Naruseb, verifying that it's a chief whip of SWAPO party. He agrees in terms of this rule. And I asked the Honorable Ampanda to, yes, this one, you can look at it if you want. When you are done, you can just look at it when we are going on break. It is signed even myself as then Prime Minister or even a Speaker, if I am not going to be in attendance, I submit my leave application to the Chief Whip's office. And that leave is signed by the Chief Whip. Whether now the Chief Whip reads it himself or he gives it to another person, there is evidence to support that the Chief Whip did approve. Yeah, no, if your query is about evidence. So, having said that, I believe that I am within the right and within the rules to have ruled the way that I did in regard to the motions of Honorable Ampanda and Honorable Kambala, and in regard to the motions that were tabled by Honorable Koper, Honorable Klassen, Honorable Karupu, and Honorable Samupwa. No, unless if you are asking a question, because there can be no debate.
No.
Yeah, briefly, yes.
I'll just repeat what he said.
The rule states that if a member, the moving member of a motion, is the one appendix his signature on the motion. The Speaker is telling me, and please elucidate this fact. You are saying on those motions that were tabled by the honorable members, the Chief Whip of the ruling party has signed on them.
Yes.
That's irregular.
Yeah.
Because any member who is presenting a motion, he himself must sign it.
Honorable member, that is now your view. If you are aggrieved, honorable member, I note that with respect. If it is your view that that is the case, please take the matter up for discussion at the standing committee, and then we discuss it. You may be right or you may be wrong. But what I say is that we cannot, in the process of conducting the business of the House, start to argue about the ruling of the presiding officer, because that's not allowed under the rules.
There you are.
Yeah, Honorable Naruseb.
Yeah. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I am simply going to concur and endorse the rule that you have cited under our rules of this House, 76, and also probably just to add a small addition there too, and that is that as the rule stands, the Chief Whip can only move one motion
Any person.
at any specific time.
Any person.
And because of that ruling, please don't help me, my son. And because of that ruling, he has the standing to delegate that responsibility to the ones that he thinks can represent what he was going to do according to the stipulations of the rules. But if the rules is to be amended, then we will find a way of complying with what the House would demand from the office of the Chief Whip. I so submit.
Yes, thank you. Honorable members, I have made a ruling on this matter already, and please, the matter now is put to rest. Yeah. Yeah, I see, yes. Is it on another point, Honorable Member?
The members whose motions are tabled are from the same party in this case. Why? I'm just trying to get some understanding. Why can't all the names be on the same paper and be presented at once by the same person? I'm just asking. I don't have issues.
Yes, honorable members, thank you very much. I want to implore, as I understand that these rules, every time we implement them, we identify certain issues that raise questions in our minds. And I just want to implore with us, because we are still a new parliament, that let's look at them, let's note all those issues, and let us discuss them, so that we don't really have to disagree on the interpretation of the rules or spend a lot of time on it. So I just want to implore us to do that. Yeah, then we proceed. Ministerial statements. Okay, none. Reports from the committee of... Honorable Balotti, very sorry.
Minutes, Honorable Speaker. Okay.
Or something.
It's not 3 minutes.
Ministerial statements is 10 minutes. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, before I read the statement, please permit me to compliment my relative brother from Omipanda village in the Oshimbingwe constituency for his very beautiful attire this afternoon. Thank you.
Very
So,
good.
I rise to provide a ministerial statement on behalf of my minister, our minister, Honorable Dr. Sanet Steenkamp, as well as our ministry pertaining to the admission of learners to schools for the 2027 academic year. This matter has attracted considerable public attention in recent days, particularly following reports and images of parents and guardians queuing for extended periods and in some instances spending nights outside schools in an effort to obtain application forms for admission into pre-primary, grade 1 and grade 8. The ministry understands the anxiety experienced by parents who wish to secure quality education opportunities for their children. However, it is important to clarify the admissions process and reassure the Namibian public that no parent is required to sleep outside a school gate in order to secure admission for their child. The admission process is governed by the Constitution of the Republic of Namibia, specifically Article 20, which guarantees the right to education, as well as the Education Act 2020, Act number 3, in the Circular 3/2026, which outlines the procedures for admissions to public schools. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, in the Khomas region, the admission process commenced with the Regional Admissions Awareness Campaign conducted from the 1st to the 12th of June of this year. During this period, the Director of Education for the Khomas region officially launched the admission campaign through a media briefing. Members of the media were encouraged to sensitize parents and communities on the admission procedures and requirements. In addition, the Regional Admissions Committee presented the admissions guidelines to principals from both public and private schools on the 5th of June of this month to ensure a common and unified understanding of the processes. The Regional Admissions Committee also conducted community outreach activities through urban and rural areas, distributing information through flyers, posters, as well as direct engagement with communities to ensure that parents were adequately informed. It is, however, worth mentioning that these efforts are not perfect. The collection of admission application forms is and was scheduled to take place from this past Monday, the 15th of June, to Tuesday, the 30th of June, 2026, and has commenced in all 14 of our regions. Parents and guardians are encouraged to collect application forms from schools within the prescribed period. Honorable members, it is important to emphasize that admissions are not conducted on a first-come, first-served basis. Collecting a form does not guarantee placement, nor does arriving first provide an advantage over other applicants. Schools have been instructed to make sufficient application forms available and to maintain comprehensive applicant registers with unique identification numbers to prevent duplication and ensure transparency. Parents will be informed of the outcome of the application after the closing date of 1 July 2026. While admission criteria may vary depending on school circumstances and available capacity, several guideline principles are applied through this process. Priority consideration is generally given to learners residing within a school's feeder zone, particularly those living closest to the school, learners whose parents or guardians work within the feeder zone, siblings of learners already attending the school and expected to remain enrolled during the following academic year. Additional considerations are given to learners residing within the region but further away from the school, families relocating to the Khomas region or any other region due to employment or economic opportunities, such as the very colleagues, honorable members of this August House. Where a preferred school has reached full capacity, the Regional Admissions Committee may offer placement at the nearest available school or in another school with available space. Parents who are dissatisfied with such placements may approach the Regional Office for assistance, although placement options may be limited due to capacity constraints. The Ministry wishes to remind all schools throughout Namibia and parents that the prescribed application fee remains 10 Namibian dollars only. I wish to single out Honorable Hangula, who has been engaging offline to ensure that this fee is adhered to. I say thank you. Furthermore, no learner may be discriminated against, screened, excluded, or unfairly disadvantaged during the admission process on the basis of social, economic, or any other status. Each child has a right to fair consideration. Following consultations with regional authorities and school leadership, several key challenges have been identified. Firstly, many parents continue to prefer a limited number of schools perceived to be the best schools or centers of excellence, resulting in exceptionally high demand at those schools while other schools still have available space. We shall continue to encourage parents to support their schools to become the very best. Secondly, despite repeated communication that admissions are not conducted on a first-come, first-served basis, some parents continue to camp outside schools in anticipation of collecting application forms. We wish to strongly denounce this. Thirdly, many primary schools accommodate their own pre-primary learners who account for a significant proportion of grade 1 admissions, in some cases exceeding 70% of available spaces. Fourthly, several high-demand schools have already reached their practical capacity limits, with enrollment exceeding 1,500 learners. In many cases, additional classrooms cannot easily be accommodated with current existing infrastructure. Fifthly, sustained migration from regions into urban centers, particularly the Commerce region, continues to increase pressure on already congested schools. Lastly, parental preference often results in disproportionate demand for specific schools, creating challenges in achieving balanced enrollment across the education sector. Honourable Speaker, honourable members, the Ministry is taking decisive action to address these challenges, where schools are being encouraged to establish representative admissions committees that reflect diversity, competence, and integrity to ensure fair and transparent decision-making. Secondly, the Ministry is actively exploring the introduction of expanded online admission system to modernize the process and reduce the unnecessary queues. Such systems will be complemented by manual application processes to ensure inclusivity. Thirdly, grade 7 learners will increasingly be encouraged to apply to their existing schools for grade 8 placement to improve planning and facilitate smooth transition. Fourthly, the Ministry will continue working closely with regional directors and education stakeholders to identify best practices and implement practical interventions aimed at eliminating current bottlenecks and strengthening admission management. As I now draw to a close, let me assure this House and the Namibian public that the government remains fully committed to ensuring that every child has access to quality education. We call upon parents and guardians to remain guided by official ministry communication, to adhere to the prescribed admission procedures, and to work together with schools and regional authorities to ensure an orderly and fair process. The Ministry will continue to improve planning, optimize available capacity, and continue to expand educational infrastructure where resources permit. I thank you for your attention.
We have 20 minutes for ministerial statements. The Minister has now used 8 minutes about. Now that leaves about 11 minutes for the members to ask. I see there is a list here. Can we quickly deal with that before we go on break? Yeah, I hear the questions and the Minister answer quickly. Honourable Ampanda, we can make them brief so everybody get the opportunity to ask.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Thank you, Deputy Minister. Minister, I'm only concerned with 2 areas. Obviously, admission is a function of space, requirement, and interest. Function, space, requirement, interest. Now, what shocks me, and I can see that you are trying to swim into that tide. What shocks me is, one is that the statement is denouncing the mechanism of first come, first serve and camping, but without actually trying to understand why do people camp. Because it's one thing to say as an education leader that this, we denounce it, but what are the schools actually supposed to do? So what are the schools supposed to do? So people come there in the front of the school, I'm looking for a form. Generally, a receptionist or a secretary at the school, practically, who's coming and who do you serve first? Who's coming to request a particular matter is asking for a form. Some schools print forms application forms, again informed by space. If there are 100 spaces available, realistically speaking, how many forms must the school print? 1,000, 2,000? Yeah? So obviously, as a coping mechanism, because people, the interest is that people are coming. What do schools do? They say, okay, the first, anyone who come and get the forms, you are going to get the forms and the forms are finished. Without us proposing an alternative, because I'm trying to understand, is it the online? Because the stories of forms are still there. Is it online and what? What's going to happen? Is it 20,000, 30,000 forms that you are going to print? Because the form now, you have to pay for it. So we cannot just denounce, that's the first thing, we cannot just denounce the mechanism that the schools are putting up without, for instance, proposing an alternative. You will see, for example, I have seen an innovative parent who actually argues that our law allows for me to just bring my child into grade 2 without my child going to grade 1. It's an innovative reading of the law. And then they are saying that...
Honorable Member, can you please round
I'm
up?
rounding up.
Yeah, questions.
Yeah. So then I'm saying the requirement in terms of the law is that school must assess my child. So in other words, I can show up without applying and asking them to do that. Because of time, I just want to see that the first one, I hope you get it, to say it's one thing to denounce and what is the option that the school are left with. Last, this, it is not just public schools. The ministry also have a responsibility and overview regulatory framework as far as, we also need to see what is happening with private school. What if they are using admission methods that are against the constitution, that are discriminatory? So what is the ministry doing as far as admission tendencies within the private school space? Those are the two ones.
Then the minister would answer 3 and then I give the floor again. Honorable Kandorodo.
Thank you so much, Speaker. Thank you so much, my brother from Rundu and Okaipe in Okakara constituency. We are celebrating President visit in Ghana and the Ghana victory over Panama last night during the World Cup tournament. Mine is the alternative. I have a problem. The executive doesn't talk to one another. In this new world of technology, why should our parents stand in queue to collect application forms? There is a very clear classical example. Dobra Secondary School, 20 or 15 kilometers from here. We just called while I was sitting in the office here at Parliament. They WhatsApp the application form. We print and fill it in. Why can't all the other schools do the same? The Ministry of MICT, why can't you help the school with websites, online applications, so that people can apply online? Very easy. But now we are working as if we are 50 years behind. What are we doing? Why should we victimize our voters, our electorate, during this winter season? They have to queue up. And it has been like this for the past 36 years. And I anticipate that it will continue like this for the next 10 years to come until we change the whole government setup to a new, different people. Because what we are doing now is a strategy of don't care attitude, and it's not good at all. We need to change. We need to care for the parents. We need to care for our voters.
Okay.
When we are in the office, let us not enjoy this very beautiful and forget the people. They are hungry. They have to subject to queue up all the nights. From 5 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning,
Okay, thank you, Honorable Kandorodu, because there must be the answer now. I'll give only one more person to ask a question, Honorable Ifete, and then I'll give the floor to the Minister to respond. If the time is not finished, we had 20 minutes, now we have only 3, because the questions are too long.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me applaud the ministry for doing its best to provide education to our children as per Article 20 of our Namibian Constitution. I have a small concern after the Deputy Minister have quoted the Constitution of the Republic, Article 20, sub-article 3, that says children should be at school, or they must be at school until, at least until attaining the age of 16. Are we currently not violating that provision of the Constitution by allowing children around many towns in our countries, the ones that sometimes we call the Angolan kids? I have no proof whether they are Angolan kids or not, but it's children. Laws are for everybody in the countries. These are children under the age of 16 years old. We have a provision, a constitutional provision, that a person under that age must be at school. What are we doing about that?
Thank you. Thank you. Honorable Balotti. Yeah. So now, unfortunately, there is a lot of interest, and really it's distressing that I can't accommodate anyone, but we have to fit within the time. Yes. Please.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I think maybe as a starting point, just to appreciate, and I can only imagine if time was on our side, we'd have more contribution. This affects all of us, and I appreciate the suggestions and the comments from the colleagues on the other side. So to Honorable Amupanda, I want to tell you that on Monday, I think it's 15th, the admission process started. We became aware of Havana Primary School and Orban Primary School with camping, and I think it was on social media with people arguing, etc. We summoned, which is a strong word, we requested the 2 principals to join. We had a meeting yesterday, Wednesday, and it was said that on Tuesday there was no queue at both schools. And we assume and we believe this to be the fact with many schools. So time was not on our side to consult extensively, but the reality was that because of misinformation on first come, first serve, there was an excess supply of parents standing in queues. But we had that engagement yesterday, and with that we've also uncovered some shortcomings and ways to ensure we can do better going forward. But I want to speak to the 2 schools that we've been made aware of, and I may be wrong, but I will put it on record, is VIS and Delta as high schools that have an online application process. But coming back to, and I'll still speak to your second question, but to Honorable Kandorodo, the unique identification number is where our challenge lies. And it doesn't mean that we cannot remedy these challenges, but I want to just quote from the ministerial statement. Schools have been instructed to make sufficient application forms available and to maintain comprehensive applicant registers with unique identification numbers to prevent duplication and ensure transparency. Now, common sense will tell us that if you send a WhatsApp form that can be photocopied and shared extensively, right? The challenge that we face is we've seen copies being made, and then you'll find that copy being sent to many, parents that want their children to be in those schools. So the unique identification number remains something that each school have to state. Application 001 is to Honorable Kandorodo. And I understand that it might appear to be quite simple, but that unique identification number has been something we've been applying our minds on. Now, coming back to Honorable Amupanda, where you say the private schools could be seen to be discriminatory, we open up and we urge the public to let us know as a ministry if they see any shortcomings, if they feel biased in any way or form. I promise you that we will look into that. As it stands, similar to to questions that we received around the 10 Namibian dollar application fee for private schools. We, as a government, as a ministry, we are not able to dictate the 10 Namibian dollar to private schools, as we're not funding those schools. And that is the reality that we face. Now, coming back to the second question, why are we forcing people to stand in queues? It speaks to the first part. The two schools that we noted that have these challenges, they told us yesterday, Wednesday, the two principals, Mr. Kluter from Auburn, I can't exactly remember the principal's name from Havana Primary School. They said that on Tuesday, because the meeting was yesterday, the one school said that there were only 3 parents that came in to look for application forms. So the misperception is first come, first serve. And that's why we wanted to use the strong English of denounce to say that it is not on a first come, first serve basis. Maybe lastly to Honorable Ifete, I want to, in the questions being posed after the tea break, Honorable Hishono, my counterpart, his question is coming up first. And I wanted to quote that one. It speaks to grade 7 or age 16 on the Basic Education Act of 2020. So it's grade 7 or the age 16, which you rightfully mentioned. And I want to tell you that seeing these young people in the street, at any opportunity we get personally, and I think that it belongs to all of us, it's a collective, it is our responsibility to engage, because we see it. And we can keep talking about these young, whether we call them Namibian or Angolan young people in the streets. It's something that none of us are proud of. And so I think the reality is that as a collective, we have to make a decision, because we're not proud of it. Nobody can stand here and say it's not our problem. It's a collective problem, and it definitely is a problem. But with that, I think I've answered. I saw something. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Now, with that, we rise for 20 minutes for a break, and then we come back to deal with the questions.
This is NBC One. It's ours.
Good afternoon, and here is your news highlights on NBC with me, Reinhilde Osiku. Thank you for joining us. Debate on the Petroleum Amendment Bill resumed in the National Assembly, with MPs supporting the bill, pointing out that the draft legislation will improve oversight, attract investment, and support local content and skills development. While supporting the bill, SWAPO Party Member of Parliament, Justina Jonas, requested that the bill include enforceable labor protection focused on local employment priorities and equal pay for equal work.
Wealth must uplift Namibian people, especially the working class, through decent jobs, fair pay, safety conditions, and really skill transfer. Let us build a sector that is not only profitable, but just inclusive and centered on the working class working and to work.
The Kenyan coastal city of Mombasa became the center of global ocean discussions as the 11th Our Ocean Conference officially got underway. The conference brings together world's leaders, policymakers, scientists, investors, and conservationists to discuss the future of the world's oceans. Hosted in Africa for the first time, the conference brings together governments, researchers, businesses, and civil society organizations to explore ways of protecting marine ecosystems while unlocking opportunities within the blue economy.
It is an opportunity to industrialize Africa. How, you might ask? Firstly, Africa relies on international shipping to the tune of 90% of its trade. When we have cleaner ships coming to our coastal areas, that is around the whole of Africa, consider the fact that we have ports dotted all around about 38 countries around Africa. It is an opportunity for our ports to develop and to be able to supply shore power. That in itself means that Africa can begin to develop its grain industrialization by focusing on electricity production.
Education remains one of the most powerful instruments for social transformation, poverty eradication, and national development. These were the remarks of Namibia's High Commissioner to Nigeria, Valden Devashia, during the official unveiling ceremony of a primary school renamed after him at Oipaiwa village in the Ohangwena region. Formerly known as Oipaiwa Junior Primary School, the institution was established in 2015 with an enrollment of 35 learners. In June 2023, it was officially renamed Valden Devashia Junior Primary School.
Education is a shared responsibility. It cannot and should not be left to teachers alone. Parents, communities, traditional leaders, government institutions, the private sector, and the development partners all have a role to play in creating an enabling environment for our children to succeed.
And in news from further afield, in a major move for global agriculture, Presidents Alassane Ouattara and John Dramani Mahama met in Abidjan to strengthen cooperation. The alliance between the world's top two cocoa producers aims to stabilize the supply chain and address escalating market pressures. CGTN reports.
The summit centered on the cocoa sector's sustainability, pricing, farmer welfare, and long-term market stability. In his inaugural speech, the Ivorian President Alassane Ouattara emphasized that despite the significant achievements of the Côte d'Ivoire-Ghana Cocoa Initiative, the sector continues to face considerable challenges.
Global price volatility continues to weigh on the incomes of our populations and farmers, as well as on our public finances. None of our states can absorb such shocks sustainably. Added to this are the effects of climate change on the productivity of our orchards, increasing pressure on rural land, accentuated by illegal gold mining, as well as the aging of plantations and the persistence of cocoa tree diseases.
Journalists at the meeting raised the issue of the experimental cocoa-free chocolate alternative called Choviva, currently being tested by some Western tech and agribusiness startups. The lab cocoa-free chocolate is to be produced without traditional cocoa beans and could potentially impact the sector.
If you use anything to produce something that's like chocolate, it's not chocolate. That's why they call it choco something, but they try to use the cho. But cho ends with chocolate, and chocolate is made from cocoa. Many people who are health conscious are beginning to look for organic and original products. And so yes, people can do their innovations, create artificial chocolate, artificial meat, artificial orange, artificial apples. If you want to eat artificial apples, you are free to do so. But many people in the world are now conscious about eating organic and healthy.
Africa accounts for approximately 80% of global cocoa production, yet it only captures a small percentage of value in the cocoa chocolate supply chain. With this in mind, the Summit Steering Committee emphasized the necessity to expand the Côte d'Ivoire-Ghana Cocoa Initiative to other African countries with the aim of enhancing regional cooperation and harmonizing sector policies.
In accordance with the provisions of its charter and in view of the need for coordinated action among African producing countries, the committee recommended officially opening the initiative to other countries, notably Nigeria and Cameroon. This expanded integration aims to reinforce regional cooperation and harmonize the sector's policies, strengthen collective bargaining power in global markets, and facilitates the sharing of best practices.
The committee also reaffirmed the importance of accelerating efforts towards local processing and industrialization of cocoa within the producing countries. The summit encouraged regional and continental trade, thereby stimulating national and regional consumption of cocoa-based products. It also committed to guaranteeing producers fair and decent remuneration and placing them at the heart of the cocoa value chain.
And those were your news highlights at this hour. Thank you for watching. Enjoy your further viewing here on NBC.
From the river god in the Zambezi River to 70s and 80s music in East Africa and a look at the melting pot of culture in the island of Zanzibar, we take you on an intriguing journey. Join us on Faces of Africa. It's coming to you on NBC One on Saturdays at 18:30 with a repeat on Sundays at 15:30. NBC, your home channel.
Every 4 years, the world stops for something special. Different nations, different cultures, different dreams, all chasing one trophy. And this time, we bring every moment of that journey straight to you.
And what a journey that's going to be. The pressure, the passion, the heartbreak, and the glory. Because at the FIFA World Cup, one moment can change everything.
A single goal can silence a stadium. A single save can inspire a nation. And before a champion is crowned, stories are written that will be talked about for years to come.
Those stories begin long before the final. They begin with rivalries, expectations, and millions of fans believing this could be their year. But the beauty of football is that nobody truly knows how the story ends. And that's why we watch. For the moments nobody sees coming. For the goals that leave us speechless and the matches we'll never forget. For 90 minutes, the whole world becomes one conversation.
And wherever that conversation takes us, NBC Sport will be there. From the opening match to the final whistle, from the first dream to the lifting of the trophy, we'll bring you every chapter of football's greatest story. The FIFA World Cup 2026, live on NBC Sport.
This is Touch FM. It's everywhere.
National FM, Prime all the time.
Hardloop FM, leef in Afrikaans.
Ondenga podongo, oi sabari pinyi jiheripo, omulari wanjibi firombaranga.
Sie sind bei Funkhaus Namibia. Deutsch gehört. Gehört.
Kai samese, aridi halkau ausi.
TYS-FM, Mamarato Aha.
Wato FM, Muchima Weto.
Kati FM, Kati Nkupara Thingi.
Wanyi FM, Kai ni Kai.
Ka Radio, Onoro Ngisima.
The number of crashes on our roads have increased dramatically.
There are ways digitally to identify people and hold them accountable.
Of course, we have to move within the ambit of the law. And if the law doesn't allow it, we have to do amendments.
One infection is one that as a society we cannot afford.
It is typically considered a childhood disease.
The best way to prevent this is really to get vaccinated.
We also have to make sure that the community, they also receive information. Why is it that they have to be immunized?
Is banning the access the answer, or does it risk pushing the problem out of sight?
If you are exposed to such unrealistic life standards at such an early age, it's going to affect how you're looking at yourself.
You obviously don't want to take away somebody's right to free speech, right? You don't want them to not be able to express themselves.
If they had to implement the strategy, we need all hands on deck.
We speak to the heads of ministries, government agencies and institutions.
We don't really have a lot of challenges, and that I want to thank the Namibian public.
I'm Rivaldo Kavanga, I'm Rivaldo Kavanga, I'm Rivaldo Kavanga, Rivaldo Kavanga. And this is Situation Critical. Every Wednesday at 1900 hours, we bring you the latest news and current affairs. Now, you're a young person and you weren't born before independence, so you wouldn't really appreciate or share a greater appreciation for that moment. We ask the tough questions. How would you describe the current status of TVET in Namibia in helping building national development? Challenge the narrative and bring you insights that keep you up to date. This is your platform, your voice, your issues, your solution. Don't just watch the show, be part of the conversation. Stay informed, stay engaged. NBC, it's ours.
Territorial integrity and the material and spiritual resources of the Republic of Namibia. So help me God.
In 1990, Namibia stepped into freedom, a new nation with a bold responsibility to educate its people and secure its future. Education became one of independence's most powerful promises.
To the best of my ability. So help me God.
Namibia's first Minister of Education, Naasangula, inherited a divided system. His task was monumental, to unify education under one national framework. Segregated systems were dismantled. A national curriculum was introduced. Access and equity became the foundation of the new Namibia. Under Honorable John Mutora, the focus shifted to expansion. Schools were built across the country, especially in rural communities. Teacher recruitment intensified. Education became more accessible.
We need leadership into them.
Honorable Nangolo Mbumba strengthened policy implementation and quality assurance. Greater emphasis was placed on science and mathematics. Teacher professional development gained momentum. In 2013, under Dr. Abraham Yambo, Namibia introduced free primary education, a historic milestone.
We are going to build more
at that school. We are going to put immediately 2 million Namibia dollars.
Pre-primary education also gained state support, ensuring children were prepared from an early age.
Congratulations.
Dr. David Namwandi's tenure saw continued expansion in higher education.
In 1994, one student, the courage, determination.
Tertiary enrollment increased. Public and private institutions strengthened Namibia's academic landscape. Education expanded beyond academics. Under Katrina Hansa-Himara, arts and culture were integrated into the portfolio.
If we coordinate, we can address our challenges with sufficient or bigger resources allocated to fewer programs.
The creative identity of learners became part of the education vision.
We have already acquired an exemption to go public to public to build 500 more classrooms in order to make up for this 1,000.
Under Honorable Anangi Pondoka, the advanced subsidiary curriculum was introduced, reshaping senior secondary education. The reform aimed to align Namibia's education with global standards. Even during global disruption, learning continued.
Tertiary education is a national project that requires cooperation, close coordination, and collaboration, but also understanding and the fact that we must know it's a shared responsibility.
In 2025, together with the presidency, Dr. Sanet Steenkamp took leadership of a broadened ministry combining education, innovation, youth, arts, and sport. And from 2026, Namibia moves toward free tertiary education in public institutions, expanding opportunity once again.
I'm pleased to announce that from the next academic year, commencing 2026, tertiary education will become 100% subsidized by the government.
36 years after independence, education remains the cornerstone of Namibia's progress. From access to reform to innovation, the journey continues.
When we are mothers of the church. We are mothers of the home. We are mothers of the nation.
We should be focused on the will of God and the purpose of God and the kingdom of God.
We idolize everything that concerns us, but God is calling us out of that and unto Himself.
As women, we are assigned by God to be helpers.
Yes.
And we can help to bring that about.
What used to matter in the world, because you are now in Christ, no longer pains you.
At the edge of the lake, rooted in fire, flavor, and connection.
I'm just
where every meal has a rhythm. Some songs taste like home.
These ingredients that are here, because we're trying to go as traditional, pastor and clearling cuisine for ons Laafjelders. Don't touch that dial.
At Lake Onep, food becomes memory.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, as you can see, guys, this is the results that we are looking for.
Meesterlijk, regtig waar.
Daar dans 'n meisie wat net soos 'n veeprinses lyk. Met 'n glimlach so stralend begroet sy die hele gehoor.
I cook, you play. Where great food meets great music.
Ellers. I am at the Simply You Lifestyle Fashion Awards at the Hilton Hotel. I'm dripped in MN Creations. Of course, face beat by Ethan's Makeup. And it's just so wonderful to be here celebrating Namibian creatives who get recognized for their wonderfully consistent work.
What's up, what a lifestyle? It's your girl Riza Rizal, the sexiest of the sexy. This is the 8th edition of the awards, and I couldn't be more excited because I was nominated for the Fashion Influencer Award of the Year. I mean, what an incredible honor. Today I am dressed by Penny's Empire. Darling, I am inspired by the beautiful landscape of Namibia. I am definitely serving where the ocean or where the ocean meets the desert, where the sea meets the desert, you know, just a little cute something, little late.
Will you please take a seat? Very good. Now, today being a Thursday, where were we? We were with ministerial statements, reports from the Committee of the Whole Assembly, none. And then today being a Thursday, we go to the answering of questions. Yes, Honorable Haikola, what is it?
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. There was a list here of the members who wanted to ask Honorable Dino questions because you said that we will go for the second round.
Yes, I said, yes, please. I said that subject to the time limit. Because according to the ruling that I had made earlier, ministerial statements have 20 minutes. So I allowed Honorable Balotti to go beyond the 20 minutes in terms of the flexibility that is given to the presiding officer to do that, just so that he can answer the questions. But then I indicated that since the time was depleted, we will not continue with the list. I know that this is a very important issue, and as I have indicated, really it's very distressing that I have to not allow these questions. And that's why I implore the honorable members, let us please be specific and to the point next time when we come to urgent oral questions, so that everybody has an opportunity to ask. So really I do this with a pain in my heart, but we have to make progress and go to the questions. So now today being Thursday, we proceed to the answering of questions. And the first one is the 139 by Honorable Swartboy to Honorable Minister of Justice. Does someone put the question on behalf of Honorable Swart?
Honorable Speaker, yes, I put the question.
Okay, Honorable Minister of Justice.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for granting me leave to be able to respond to the question put by Honorable Swartboy initially, now advanced by Honorable Mvula. But Honorable Speaker, I thought we had agreed initially here that perhaps where one is acting on behalf of another member should be some form of evidence that they are doing so. So I wonder then what would be the evidence. I'm again raising within the framework of Rule 83. So as to whether now in terms of the co-sponsoring of questions, you know, the same rule should not apply. Very orderly, Honorable Speaker. Very orderly. You know, I respect when people speak, whether sensibly or otherwise. Sensibly, when people speak, whether sensibly or otherwise, I listen. So I expect the member to listen. I just want you to address me on that, Honorable Speaker.
Come again, Honorable Minister. What is the question?
If people that are acting on behalf of others need to provide evidence of the delegation.
Yeah, not in regard to putting of questions, Honorable Minister.
Because
Yeah.
Should it not apply in respect of the co-sponsoring of questions?
Yeah, I'm not following. Can you just come to the level of a non-lawyer, please? I'm not following what you are saying. Yeah, like secondary school English.
Honorable Speaker, earlier into the proceeding of today,
yes,
there was questions of whether people can act on behalf of others and all those types of things, and I understood the position to be one that where one is evoking the relevant provisions of the rule to act on behalf of an absent member. So evidence is required. I'm then asking as to whether there is any evidence, material, from Honorable Mvula in co-sponsoring that question.
Okay, Honorable Member, I have already answered that question. That I answer each question as it's put, looking at the details, the nature of the question, or the issue that is put. So if an Honorable Member comes and table a bill to enact a law of serious whatever in the name of another, I want a confirmation on that one. If that person is not a deputy and so forth. But if the person is just putting a question that was notified by another member, there is already evidence. In fact, when we go to amendment of the rules, I was wondering why actually the person need to put the question. The person already gave notice and tabled the question. So I think this is just the lawyers who drafted this one. Okay. So now when the non-lawyers are going to review, I think we will look at those issues.
Yeah, respecting your authority, Honorable Speaker,
yes, so you can
allow me the opportunity to respond to the question. First, to thank Honorable, Clinton Swartboy for putting that question forward. It indeed speaks squarely and centrally to the heart of our, our democracy and the rule of law, which are principles that safeguard, the fairness, the independence and the integrity of our criminal justice system. Honorable Speaker, I want from the onset to indicate to this august House that the Office of the Prosecutor General, it's a statutory creation or is a constitutional creation. It is not a formation or it's not a political formation. It's one that is charged with the responsibility of initiating prosecutions, in criminal proceedings. So this independence is not symbolic, Honorable Speaker. It's one, that speaks or borders on a deliberate check and balances that are built into our democratic framework. So designed to ensure that decisions in the exercise of prosecutorial discretion is insulated against, bias and any form of arbitrariness. Therefore, to get specifically to the questions that were put, one borders on the framework within which the prosecutorial decisions are exercised. Honorable Speaker, I want to indicate that prosecutorial decisions are taken within the parameters of our Constitution, Criminal Procedure Act, and the relevant legislation. And each, matter that is before the Prosecutor General is assessed independently and on its own merit. Before a decision to prosecute is taken, Honorable Speaker, honorable members, it must meet, or a matter or the allegation must meet two tests. Two tests, Honorable Speaker. First is the evidential sufficiency, and then secondly, Honorable Speaker, is the public interest. So those are the two tests that any allegation, that is before or the Prosecutor General must meet, whether it meets evidential sufficiency and whether it's in the public interest to prosecute that particular matter. So the Office of the Prosecutor General, Honorable Speaker, is guided, or has internal prosecutorial guidelines and peer review mechanism. And those guidelines, the purpose is really to safeguard the decision against any possible arbitrariness as well as possible biasness. So the second question from Honorable Swartboy, Honorable Speaker, is one that spoke to the relationship between the police officers as well as the prosecutors. And I want to indicate that the relationship between...
Honorable Minister, are you having written answers?
Sorry?
Because that's very, very important and very sophisticated. Even I want to tomorrow refer to what we are talking about now. I'm just asking. I know maybe you have a written answer somewhere, and you just...
No, Honorable Speaker, my answers are on record.
Oh.
I mean the...
Okay, so you will get it from the Hansard and do the correction, and the member will get it. Is that it? Okay, I'm not going to prohibit you from answering. I'm just saying, honorable members, some questions are complicated, and some people bring questions on behalf of community members, and some people are like me, not experts. Like if somebody asks me to come and ask a lawyer a question to a lawyer, and the lawyer answers me in a very complicated manner, I want that lawyer to send me even a text so that I can forward. No, I'm just saying that generally. I'm not stopping the minister. So minister say it is on record. Please make sure that that record is obtained, even if it's Hansard together with the secretariat, to make sure that those answers are available. Because when I read these questions, they are very, 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 very heavy. Ne? Yeah, please proceed.
Honorable Speaker, my understanding of this proceeding is that everything that we say here, it's recorded. And what I have placed on record is that any matter before the Prosecutor General must meet two tests.
Yes, point of order. Briefly, Honorable Ampanta, because I don't want now the professor and the lawyer. Honorable, please. Honorable Minister of Justice, please take your seat. I don't want you to take this thing to another level, and we take a lot of time on that one.
No. Speaker, and I'm just saying what the minister is moving us in a dangerous territory. And because Speaker is always very clear, for good reason, that questions must be notified and they must be in writing. So if the minister says that everything that he's answering is on record, that means when we also ask questions that are not written, we are also on record. So therefore, we will have chaos, isn't it, Speaker? If we don't, because we are required to have notified questions, and then we move over and we table them. So I'm just saying that, Speaker, you are right. It's advisable. For me, it's obviously logical that there must be written responses, because questions were notified in writing. So they must also be responded similarly, particularly also knowing the time limit that we have. So the minister's preposition is very dangerous, Speaker.
Yeah, thank you. No, I have made the ruling already. I said let's try, please, because really when it comes to, elaborate answers on complicated issues, we need that. So, Honorable Minister, proceed. I have been in his position as a former member of the executive. I will come here and answer without whatever, and somebody would challenge me. I always have my draft. I can make it available the next day or something like that. But let's just be together that we need something that, yes, Honorable Member.
Speaker, can the minister confirm that he has his response in writing? Please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But honorable members, I think we have dealt with that issue. Let the minister finish, because I have made the ruling. Whether the minister say he has something now, I have told the minister we need a written something. Yeah, let's leave it there so that we can finish answering the question. Yes. No, honorable member. Now we have 4 people speaking on the same issue. Yeah. Okay, please, half a minute. Honorable members.
Yeah, Speaker, thank you very much. Really, mine is just a concern if we are to agree with what the Honorable Minister has put forward, saying he's on record. The Hansards take some time.
Yeah.
And what if tomorrow or next on Monday we
Honorable
want
member,
to
I
look
have
at the
dealt
answers?
with that issue already. I will deal with that concern. Leave it to me. Because,
it takes long.
honorable ministers, honorable members of Parliament, the minister was busy answering a question. Maybe I did wrong to share what I was thinking by announcing my question, because I didn't also have to interrupt him. I ought to have allowed him to finish talking, and then I can ask for a copy. Now we cannot start another debate on that issue. Let's just allow the minister to finish answering. Minister, please proceed.
Honorable Speaker, Rule 132.
Honorable, I have ruled already. Just answer the question.
Okay. Honorable Speaker, there was the second question by Honorable Swatboy borders on the relationship between the prosecutors and the police officers, those that investigate matters. I want to indicate that the relationship between the Office of the Prosecutor General and the investigator is one that is processual interdependent, but professionally independent, such that one process feeds into another. So the outcome of the investigation process does inform the exercise of the discretional power by the Prosecutor General. And the prosecutors in initiating the criminal proceeding is then to be informed by the evidence or evidential materials gathered, during the investigation process. So it's also important for us to note that while the prosecutors may guide the investigators in order to make sure that the evidence that they are collecting, meet the legal standard, the decision to prosecute remains that of the prosecutors. Honorable Speaker, I also then want to address the questions that somehow created an impression that there appears to be political interference in the exercises of the prosecutorial discretion. Honorable Speaker, I want to indicate that the Prosecutor General does not consult the executive in the exercise of that specific discretion. Not even in case that involve the politically exposed person, perhaps, or political office bearers. That particular authority is exercised independently, and that independence, Honorable Speaker, is well enshrined in terms of our Constitution. So the principle of the separation of power, it's very important in ensuring that there is the public trust in the prosecutorial or in the exercise of the prosecutorial authority. The last question, Honorable Speaker, I think it's one that verges on a case that involve the former minister, where the member or Honorable Swatboy created an impression that there appeared to be persecution against former members of Parliament. I want to indicate that in terms of... Sorry?
It's a question, it's not a perception.
Continue, Honorable Member.
Honorable Speaker, I said the questions by Honorable Swartboy created an impression upon me that there appeared to be persecution in the exercise of prosecutorial authority. And I want to make it then, to unequivocally place it on record that in terms of the brief that I have, so the citizens upon which or to whom this specific question relates, there appear to have been to be two cases that has been opened against the individual concerned. One, it falls under the common offences, and the other one, so it's bordering on statutory offences in terms of the compacting of rape is concerned. And what I am briefed of is that insofar as
yeah. Honorable members, please don't call upon the presiding officer to rule. The presiding officer knows when to rule. Yes, there are time limits. The presiding officer will enforce those time limits, and the presiding officer is given a discretion to extend up to a certain amount, not the whole day. I won't keep you here the whole day. So please don't interrupt the member to ask the speaker to tell the member to stop talking, because the minister is answering very important questions. Yeah, so.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, I was then saying that in terms of my brief, the Prosecutor General has made a decision insofar as the common offence or the case on the common offence is concerned, and is yet to make a decision insofar as the case that pertains to the allegation on the violations of the Compacting of Rape Act is concerned. So with regard to the questions on the Karasberg councillors, which again was collateral or part of the questions by the honourable member, I think what is important is also to inform this august House that the Prosecutor General has made a decision in respect of that. The indictments in terms of those allegations or those cases has been issued, and I think the matter is then pending before court. Honourable Speaker, I then want to indicate that it's improper and preemptive, for the honourable member to preemptive of the court determination to frame, that the proceedings as persecution that are yet to be adjudicated. The Office of the Prosecutor General is a guardian of justice, and it's not a political instrument, as it, as some quarters of societies would want to believe. The independence of the Office of the Prosecutor General, as it is for the independence for other organ of state or other statutory establishment, is a cornerstone of our constitutional order. And it's important that we respect that and view it for what it is. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Members. And I want to call upon the ministers, please, and the members who are asking questions to be to the point. Now we agreed the Minister of Justice would make a copy available by tomorrow, say for example, so that this information is shared with the member who is not here. Since the member is not here, then we proceed to the next question, and it's question number 141 to the same Minister of Justice. By Honorable Ampanda. Does Honorable Ampanda put the question? Yeah, Minister of Justice. Please, you have the floor.
Will help me on 134.2. The answering of questions or reply from the answering part. Should it be off the cuff?
No, I have already dealt with that
But
issue.
he's continuing.
No, honorable member, please let's not to spend time on that one. The point has been made. I have noted it. I have made a ruling. Discussing it further is not going to generate any positive outcomes for us. Just let the minister answer. I have already made the ruling, and I will make a ruling on this one as well. Yeah, honorable minister, please proceed.
Honorable Speaker, it's important also that we don't formulate rules just to suit our own or to quest our own thirsts. It's important. Okay. Honorable Speaker, I think we are expected to answer the questions very crisply, in the interest of the proceeding. And in order yes, it's exactly what I'm saying, Honorable Speaker. The questions by Honorable Ampanda, Honorable Speaker, in summary, is one that borders on why are there no disclosures of salaries by the public enterprises as well as by the private sector. And Honorable Ampanda then tried to link that, to Section 4, sub D as well as Section 5F of the affirmative.
And it's how much? 5 minutes, is it?
Of the affirmative action.
5 minutes. Yeah,
action Act number 29 of 1998, Honorable Speaker. And the second one was then whether the ministry or why the ministry is not actually considering putting up the regulations in accordance with those subsections that I have cited in an attempt to meet the statutory or the legislative intentions under Article 23 of the Namibian Constitutions, outlawing, or prohibiting, the perpetuations of racial discriminations, ideologies and all practices that borders on racial discriminations. I think it's important, just by way of a summary, to indicate that Namibia has ratified the ILO Conventions 111. And the ILO Convention 111, it's one that really urges member states, via law, to ensure that they come up with legislations that really try to liberate, the previously disadvantaged and provide equal access to employment within the labor market. That, I think, we must take note of it as members of this August House, that where we feel there is a gap or there is a legislative gap in terms of our legislation, so we can actually redress, those past, or the legacy of apartheid and discriminatory practices and legal order. So by coming up clearly with those legislations, in addition to what is permissible in terms of Article 23 of the Constitution, as rightfully quoted by Honorable Ampanda. Now, it's also then important to know that institutions, both the public enterprises as well as the private ones, does enjoy some form of institutional autonomies, you know, and they do not, some of them disclose salaries, you know, for competitiveness and for other reasons that they may probably be citing for market competitiveness and for operational independence. But I think what is important for us to note is that insofar as the SOEs are concerned, Cabinet has taken a decision to probably look or initiate a process, a total reform of the SOEs. And inherent in that particular decisions of Cabinet is also to look at the salary that are offered in the SOEs in order to find some form of equity, you know, within the labor market, or probably between what is offered in the SOE as well as in the public service. But it's also important for us to know that part of, Honorable Speaker, the questions are put in a form that they are, and I think they deserve just well-contextualized answer. It's also important, Honorable Speaker, to know that the bill, I'm concluding, Honorable Speaker, if you can just allow me one more minute. Honorable Speaker, it's important for us to know that we must be very coherent in our submissions before the House. The bill on the Public Enterprises Governance Act that is before this House, part of what we are trying to legislate therein, it's really a very sound and effective governance of the public enterprises, including making sure that at least there is a determination of salaries and remuneration structures of the staff members of the SOEs at a particular central point, again in an attempt to address the anomaly that exists insofar as the remuneration governance in this country is concerned. I think further details as to what is that can be done and all that, I think we can also address them bilaterally, or if I'm allowed to amplify in terms of providing, you know, more detailed answers, I can then do that. On the regulations, you know, of whether or not it's important, it's possible to come up with the regulations. I think it's important also for us to note that those provisions that Honorable Mpanda referred to partly are the ones that require employers to submit their affirmative actions report, you know, in terms of which they are expected to account for how they are remunerating, you know, between different race of their employees and all those types of things, and whether they are taking into account or they are intentional about making sure that the previously disadvantaged are catered for in their employment scheme. Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker.
So, I hear you, Minister, but I'm not too convinced because the central basis of the question is this, for which I want you to elucidate and clarify. We, from the Constitution, Article 23 that we're talking about, flows an Act of Parliament, affirmative action, employment, and all this. And they are always, employers are always producing reports, and the statistic comes about the executives and what they are paid and what race do they belong to and all these things. Yeah? Now, if I get you correctly, you agree about the importance of being able to do that, but you are saying PEGA is a solution. Okay? That I follow, because in other words, I must accept and settle that PEGA is a solution. It's going to have some sort of remuneration governance. I don't see it very clearly, but I could understand where maybe it could flow from, because Prime Minister must develop guidelines and things like that, hopefully. And what I was okay with that until you said that the section that I referred to, section 1D and 5F, has to do with those submissions. But I'm specifically referring to the power granted to the minister to pass regulation. So in other words, to give birth to something that doesn't exist, to address an existing problem. So I just want you to clarify. I'm okay if you are simply saying PEGA is our refuge. It's going to solve those problems that we are facing there. But I'm just not too sure whether you are saying what you are saying specifically about those regulations, because it actually spoiled the flow. Because are you saying the regulations are not applicable, not what they are supposed to do? So that's the aspect that I'm confused. I just want you to make a commitment to say that, yes, it's indeed true. This is the direction that we're going with PEGA. The remuneration governance is going to be regulated there and then. Then I'll be able to understand that. And you just clarify what you are speaking about, the regulation.
Yes, Minister.
Now, but Speaker, the questions that I endeavored to answer are self-explanatory. In a chosen formulations of Honorable Mpanda. The first one is that why are the SOEs not disclosing their salaries? If the salaries of the political office bearers, he mentioned President, Chief Justice, members of Parliament, is known. I have answered that, Honorable Mpanda. The second one is on is it possible to pass regulation as provided for under under section,
that one.
Yes, 1D and 5D. So that's what the paper here is saying. But I take it that it's referring to section 4 and 5. So, and he is now asking, for me to make commitment, and I have indicated, in a broader scope, to say, yes, we acknowledge that there is a problem with the remuneration governance in this country. But I have also came on record unequivocally that as we pursue that particular direction, we must be cognizant, of operational independence of institutions. Ours is mixed economy. That at the moment, both the public sectors and well as the SOEs would tell you issues of operational independence as well as market competitiveness, and why they would probably be hesitant to disclose their remuneration structure. But from the government side, where we have an oversight or an oversight over the public enterprises, we are then trying to address it very deliberately and intentionally. And part of what I have spoken to is that if you look at the Public Enterprises Governance Act, which is the act that regulates directly, and I think Honorable Mpanda, being captured in a manner that I know, would appreciate that, an act of parliament in a form of the public state-owned Public Enterprises Governance Act would have more legal force as opposed to the regulation. We understand your call for the regulation, but we are saying, if only, and I'm saying this with the greatest respect, I have respect for you. If only this August House, in the number that we are, can realize that the bill that is before this House means well. For those that have,
Honorable Minister,
for those that have read it meticulously, would understand the value in that particular.
Okay, thank you. Honorable Minister, the answer is not clear. So for me, can you just take a seat? You don't need to motivate what will happen, because in fact the rules are saying we are not allowed to do that. So for a person who struggles to follow the debate, the question is just simple. Why don't SOEs publish the salaries when they advertise? I'm not saying that you should say yes, they are going to publish. If there is a reason why it can't happen, you just say no, or I cannot make a commitment because they are given a discretion under the law, in one sentence, so that all of us will understand. And then when he says, is it not possible to pass regulations? I don't know what regulations he's talking about, but I have tried to listen to both of you, and I'm not really getting what it is that is being said. So what I was expecting to get as information is to either say, it is not possible to issue those regulations under the Affirmative Action Act, but those regulations would be issued under the Public Enterprises Act. Is that what we are saying? Just for clarity. Or otherwise, we can leave it to the copy when we get a copy of the minister. Because the issues to you, colleagues, they may look very simple, but at the end of the day, a person who is sitting there, who is just ended up to grade 10, and is struggling to understand English, I don't think they are going to be able to understand even what Honorable Ampanda asked, let alone what the Minister of Justice said in response. Yeah, honorable members. So I please implore all of us to do that, because we are covered live so that the people can follow. Let's make sure that we bring along everybody who is following. But I have already ruled that the minister would provide the written answers, so let us not make him to repeat the answers again. Okay? Because we are also losing time. It's now past 5, and we have only answered 2 questions. Yeah? So now we proceed to question number 143 by Honorable Ihemba to the Minister of Home Affairs. Honorable Ihemba, are you here? He's not here. And the Minister of Home Affairs is also not here. Huh? Is somebody? Oh, you are here. Oh, sorry. Is anyone delegated? Minister of Home Affairs is not here, unfortunately. Oh, honorable. Then the next one. The next one is 146 by Honorable Lucato to the Minister of Urban and Rural Development. Honorable Lucato, do you put the question? Yes. Deputy Minister, are you delegated to answer? Oh, okay. So please, we defer the response to that question. The next is 149 by Honorable Mongo to the Minister of Justice. Does someone put the question? Okay, the question is put. Honorable Minister of Justice, you have the floor. Yes, Honorable Minister, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, the questions by Honorable Ina Mongo. Honorable Speaker, the question was initially put by Winnie Mongo, and it got co-sponsored by Ina Hengari. So I have to bring them together so that they co-own the question. Yeah, so, Honorable Speaker, I think it pertains to the delay. The first question.
No, it is not official. So I'm taking it because the rules are saying members are to be referred in a certain manner. If they are not referred in a certain manner and they take offense, if they take offense, then the member must withdraw. but the Honorable Ina didn't object. So I don't know. Also, maybe Honorable Winnie is also Ina. I don't know. Yeah, so she has let that pass. Yeah, so the minister can proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I was saying that the first question, borders on a concern in the delay for the child payment, maintenance payment, through the magistrate court, and how then the ministry is, or what measures the ministry is taking to ensure timely disbursements of funds to, mothers, fathers, and guardians. So, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Members, so I want to indicate that, so the ministry acknowledged that there has been, some degrees of delay in child maintenance payment, and that this challenge remains. However, with the recent appointment of the maintenance officer, I have it written, Honorable Speaker, I will give it to you after this.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, so that's one. So the services that were previously unavailable are now being provided to the public, which has since been, or which has already been, has already improved access. It's important to note that there is the receipt and the disbursement of maintenance money are the responsibility of the revenue clerks who resort under the office of the judiciary. Delay typically arise because funds are received from various entities on different dates, and prescribed financial procedures must be followed before disbursement can take place. An example for this, Honorable Speaker, in Windhoek, we only have 10 revenue clerk who handles the receipt and payment of all money for the entire court. To improve efficiency and timeliness, the ministry is collaborating with the judiciary and in prioritizing the following: progressive deployment of maintenance investigators, the rollout of electronic receipt and improved administrative processes, the implementations of statutory enforcement remedies under the Maintenance Act, as well as the additional manpower and continuous overtime for cash clerks when necessary. This measure, Honorable Speakers, Honorable Members, are aimed at ensuring that the funds are disbursed more promptly to mothers and fathers and guardians across the country. Second questions pertain to the average processing time for the maintenance payment cost, across all magistrates in Namibia, magistrate court rather, and to indicate whether there are specific courts with particular extra long delay. According to the information that is at my disposal, from the chief clerks at the Katutura Magistrate Court, the average processing time for maintenance is 2 to 3 days, sorry. In other towns, however, payments are only processed on specific days, which result in longer waiting periods. At the present, there is no consolidated national average across all courts. Delay varies according to caseloads and staff levels with some courts, and the ministry will work with is working with the judiciary to standardize reporting on case age and processing time so that the problems areas can be identified and addressed more effectively. On the questions of fathers or the recipients that are in remote and rural areas, who consistently expressed frustrations over the delayed payments and lack of updates from court officials. Due to high workloads and limited staffing, courts are often unable to provide regular follow-up to complainants. However, a number of initiatives have been undertaken or are underway rather, so to improve communications. This includes implementations of the Ministry Customer Service Charter, introductions of the electronic receipts to improve transparency, as I've spoken to earlier, as well as strengthening the involvement of maintenance investigators in keeping complainants informed. Honorable Speaker, I think the last two questions pertain to whether they are planned to decentralize the services, as well as to provide data on the current staffing level. I think it's suffices then to indicate that indeed, so not all courts have dedicated maintenance at the present, and the ministry remain committed to addressing the staff gaps and expanding the services with a view to further decentralize and improve accessibility in the rural areas. While on the issue pertaining to the workloads and the projected timeline for addressing the gaps, it's important to indicate that this the current capacity is insufficient given the highest case load, and similar challenge exists in all other courts. But as I have indicated, so the ministry is working on the restaffing strategy in order to address the problems. The questions were a bit longer, Honorable Speaker, but I think it's important then just to conclude that in practice, however, enforcement remains a challenge. Namibia does not have a system of routine monitoring of payments, and default usually only comes to light when the custodial parents lodge a complaint. This reactive approach is largely the result of limited staffings and heavy case loads, which make proactive follow-up unforeseeable. While the mechanisms in law are adequate, their effectiveness is constrained by the resource limitations, delay in tracing defaulting parents, as well as inconsistent compliance by some employers in implementing the order. Strengthening the institutional capacity, therefore, is not lost upon us, and the introduction of better tracing system and stricter enforcement of employer compliance is essential to improve the timely or the turnaround or the payment turnaround time and the consistency of enforcement. These are the initiatives that the ministry is in hot pursuit of, and therefore we pray for the indulgence of this House as we seek for improvement. I thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Minister of International Relations and Trade. Both the Minister and DM are not here. The Honorable Klute is here? No, but they are not here anyway, the team from MIRT. The next is 156 by Honorable Mbuti to the Minister of Gender. Honorable Mbuti, do you put the question? Yes, Minister of Gender. That's 156. Speaker?
Yes. I'm reliably informed that question 156 was answered by the Honorable Deputy Minister as delegated. Yes. So perhaps the table office can assist us in that regard.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, they did inform me, and I asked that they should arrange for a copy of the answer to be provided to the member. It might be that someone maybe put the question on our behalf and did not get a copy. So the Secretariat would arrange for a copy, and Honorable Mbuti can get it from the front desk. Yeah. Now, the next one is by Honorable Klute To the Minister of International Relations again. So they are both not here. The next is 164 by Honorable Lizazi to the Minister of Justice. Honorable Lizazi, does someone put the question on behalf of Honorable Lizazi? Yes, Honorable Minister of Labor.
Honorable Speaker, I was saying that modern judiciary can never operate in isolation. And for that reason, there is a compelling reason as to why they should seek a strategic partnership with their contemporary, within the region. In this spirit, as I pay attention to the choice of words, so memorandum of understanding have been concluded with the judiciary of Lesotho, Mozambique, Uganda, Cuba, Indonesia, Zimbabwe, with further instruments under consideration with the jurisdiction of South Africa, Botswana, and Malawi. This MOU facilitates structured exchanges and the sharing of best practices for mutual benefits. It is as a result of our MOU with the judiciary of Zimbabwe that the delegations from that jurisdiction is here, or was actually here at the times, so this was prepared, on the benchmark visit focused on Namibia court-connected alternative dispute resolution mechanism. Now, on question 1 by Honorable Lizazi, Namibia judicial system is comparatively young, yet take pride in the significant reform achieved over the past 35 years. The High Court rules have served as a blueprint for peer jurisdictions and court-connected mediation, which is only now gaining wide regional traction. Was incorporated into our system in 2024. It's on this basis that Zimbabwe has shown interest in our model. The cooperations between the two countries is reciprocal, while Namibia benefits from the service of the Zimbabwean judges, former High Court judge, so Justice Marlene Thomas has also been appointed to act in the High Court of Zimbabwe. On question 2, as to the benefits derived from the judicial exchange between Namibia and Zimbabwe, so the Namibian judiciary, together with other key justice sector stakeholders, is advancing an integrated electronic case management and information management system to modernize case flows in courts and improve access to justice. Zimbabwe has made notable progress in digitalizing its court. Pursuant to the MOU, as Honorable Lizazi and other honorable members would know, the Namibian delegation visited Zimbabwe in July last year to learn from their experience, and similar benchmark visits have been conducted in Rwanda and Uganda. So the case management, electronic case management and information system and the related initiative include the reductions of cases or case backlog, particularly in the lower courts, strengthening the judicial systems and enhancing public confidence in the administration of justice. And Zimbabwe in particular has achieved notable success in this area, and Namibia is drawing from this proven experience. On question 3, so it's surface to say no additional agreement are envisaged during the concluded or were discussed during the ended benchmark visit. On question 4, Namibia is creating a long-term dependence on foreign judges through the appointment of Zimbabwean judges. Or the risk of Namibia creating long-term dependence on foreign judges through appointment of Zimbabwe judges is unfounded. While it is early, in a year, foreign judges from Zimbabwe, South Africa, Zambia, and the United Kingdoms assisted a small local pool. The functionings of the courts is not reliant on them. Engagements are need-based and reciprocal. For example, the Deputy Chief Justice serves as the acting judge in the Supreme Court of the Kingdom of Lesotho. Namibian judges have also served as acting judges in the Republic of Botswana, and one has served as at a continental level under the auspices of the African Union. On question 5, the Office of the Judiciary has revived their aspirant judge training program and is establishing a judiciary training institute to provide structured, continuous training for serving judges and prospective candidates. Alongside the other initiatives, these efforts are or will expand local capacity and a sustainable bench. Judicial exchanges with foreign judiciaries are reciprocal and principled. They build capacity at home, they share Namibian success, and strengthen the rule of law home and abroad. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
That was for Honorable Lizazi. Now the next...
Follow-up.
No, the follow-up can only be made by the member.
I put the question.
Yes, but the rules specifically say the member who asked the question is given an opportunity. Honorable member, every single time the presiding officer is making a ruling, you interrupt the presiding officer to argue. Every single time. No, but you can't do that according to the rules. You can't interrupt the presiding officer when they are making a ruling. You know, sometimes your intentions may not be bad, but the way it comes out, it's not good. Because every time you don't agree, you just react like that. But you want me to hear you out, but you don't want to hear me out. Yeah. So the rules are only giving a right to the member that asked the question to make a follow-up question. And even that is subject to the discretion, is to be allowed by the presiding officer. So a member who did not put the question and ask another member to put the question cannot be asking follow-up questions, because those are not Honorable Lizazi's questions, because he did not put those questions. Those are now new questions that you are putting. Yeah. So Honorable Member, yeah, no, this one will really just set a precedent. Yeah, what is it that you like?
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for that clarity. And I apologize for interjecting.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I just, for the sake of future reference, maybe Speaker can give me that specific rule. I want to circulate. Thank you very much.
Yes, Honorable, thank you very much. Honorable Member, I'll give you a rule that says a member who asks the question may be given an opportunity to pose a follow-up questions for elucidation or something to that effect. But the part that I'm underlining is a member who asked the question. Now, if you delegate to someone else to ask on your behalf, that right does not pass. There is nothing in the rules that say, provided that if there is a delegation, whosoever is delegated, it's not there. And the rules are saying the presiding officer must interpret, unfortunately. But this one is a problematic. If we change the rules to say, I can ask a question and delegate a person to put it for me, and that person can ask follow-up questions. Tomorrow you can even come back and say, no, I never did that. It was the Honorable Rikando who answered. My question was written, and it's this one. I never asked you that question. So that's really the challenge that we are faced with. Now, honorable members, can we please proceed? We only have now 15 minutes. Yeah, honorable. The next question is by Honorable Klute. Question 165, Honorable Klute to the Minister of International Relations. The Minister is not here, and the Honorable Klute. Then the next is 167 by Honorable Ipumbu of NEF to the Minister of Urban and Rural Development. Honorable Ipumbu, do you put the question? Yeah. DM, are you delegated to answer question 167? Okay, so the question stands over, no delegation. Then the next is question 168 by Honorable Ipumbu to the Minister of Works and Transport. Honorable Ipumbu. Yeah, Honorable Nekundi.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And to my younger brother, Honorable Ipumbu. The question, from Honorable Ipumbu of NIEV is to do with the RCC. And the first question is what immediate steps will be taken to ensure that at least 70% of RCC projects value stays in Namibian hands, and when will this start? In responding, it is provided as follows to the honorable member and the audience out there, that honorable member, we must be assured through this August House, in view of the pre-statement by the honorable member when he put the question, we are assured that the leadership of SWAPO party and her leadership will never betray this country. For your information, honorable member, the president of our party, the ruling party, and the president of the Republic of Namibia is a Namibian. Nor are we an extension of any formation, neither a proxy of an imposed ideology. Roads Contractor Company and the Roads Authority, in collaboration with the Ministry of Works and Transport, this was now in the past, was last year. We were finalizing, it's now finalized, a 5-year memorandum of agreement between RCC and Road Authority. This agreement aimed to strengthen the RCC's capacity to operate sustainably and reduce the company's dependence.
Yes, a point of order now, Honorable.
Which one?
Honorable Speaker, is it allowed for Honorable Nekundi to throw Honorable Ipumbu under the bus after supporting the petroleum bill?
Honorable Nekundi, may please continue. That one is now out. It's now ruled out, that one.
Honorable Speaker, no need to do the ruling, it's the automatic ruling.
Okay.
This agreement aims to strengthen RCC's capacity to operate sustainably and reduce the company's dependence on subcontracting the majority of the works to local or foreign companies for the execution of roads projects. With the current capacity gap, which I believe all of us know by now, RCC has been directed to actively seek strategic partnerships for capital projects beyond their capacity, of course, with a strong emphasis on capacity building, skills transfer, and promoting local participation. The second question, will you commit to a forensic audit of all RCC foreign partnerships since 2015 with full transparency on where the money went and table the fundings within 6 months? 15 years. Honorable Member, in view of your questions, particularly on the time frame set, I would like to respond as surely, Honorable Member. Honestly speaking, you will not expect a 15 years or 10 years, 15 now, going to 15 years period forensic audit to be conducted in 6 months. It will not be realistic. And I will never commit to impossible things, which will hold me accountable later on. It is not possible, and I offer you the tender to do that for me in 6 months, to come and report back. Secondly, Honorable Member, that was on the lighter note. Secondly, forensic audit is very expensive. And surely we in this August House and the public out there would not expect a minister or any leader for that matter to just do a forensic audit without having substance matters that is brought to attention that must be audited upon, and that will warrant the auditing to be undertaken. Honorable Member, your question 3 is, will your ministry implement a local content policy mandating that all state construction entities partner with majority Namibian-owned firms, and will you commit to tabling this legislation in the current session? I believe that also possibly includes August 26 construction, beyond my scope. Honorable Member, this government, and in particular the Ministry of Works and Transport, is clear on its stance to promote local participation in the construction industry. And we are on public record on that. Your duty now is to support that stance. I have heard when it's done that way, people think this side have shares in the local companies. So I don't know what salad we are creating. When we must do it, it's a problem. When we don't do it, it's a problem. So I don't know. Maybe we must find a formula how it can be done. I must emphasize that the Ministry of Works and Transport, and in fact the entire government system, acknowledges the importance of promoting local participation in public construction projects. Provisions to give preference, and not absolute, to partnerships with majority Namibian-owned companies can be incorporated into the Public Procurement Act 15 of 2015. And that incorporation is the primary duty of this August House when that bill is brought here. However, we must be cognizant that the state companies must run its affairs in the most prudent fashion, primarily informed on the benefits it will derive from such partnership, not just because it's Namibian-owned companies. This approach will strengthen local content implementation across all state construction entities while ensuring alignment with national procurement principles and sustainable economic empowerment objectives, without compromising prudency in the administration and management thereto. However, I must state here that the Ministry of Works and Transport is not the custodian ministry for the Public Procurement Act amendments. As such, I cannot commit to table such legislation. 4, given the RC's failure to empower Namibians, will you dissolve its current board and management and appoint leadership alignment with genuine economic transformation? Honorable Speaker, allow me to be a bit sarcastic.
And no, it's not.
No, not to you, not to you, not to you, not to you, not to you. I hope the public will say, because Parliament has only passed 1 or 2 legislation for 2 years, the Parliament must be dissolved. I hope so. Just our own conscience. It's a collective. Honorable member, I am not sure if the honorable member's assertion.
What is the matter, Honorable Carol? What happened? Yeah, what point do you want to make, Honorable Carol? What? Okay. Okay. Can you get up and make your point? One moment, Honorable Minister.
But the member must not stop looking at her.
Yes. Yes.
No.
So you are asking the speaker to ask the honorable member not to call your name or not to look at you. Or what is the point? Okay. Well, the minister may now continue.
Okay, very good. I'm not sure if the honorable member's assertion is informed by facts. Under the active, and underline, under the active projects awarded to RCC, they are in 3 categories. 1, grading units, what we call the GUs. All 31 projects are subcontracted to locally owned enterprises, 100% locally owned enterprises. I think I had a list attached. I don't know what happened on our job. What is that list? But I will provide that list. Just on a lighter note. 2 is the bitumen maintenance unit, which is we call BMUs. All 5 are only done by RCC. 100% RCC is doing all the 5 I wanted to eat. Then number 3, capital roads projects. All 5 with Namibian registered but foreign owned enterprises. Okay? However, all of the over 90 SMEs, subcontractors on all these 5 on these projects are locally owned enterprises. The list will also be made available. Therefore, based on the facts at my disposal and the disposal of Works and Transport, Road Authority and RCC, and on the floor, okay, I will withdraw this one, it's not here today. I am not sure if any decision you are calling me to do will stand the test of Article 18 of the Namibian Constitution, which I am obliged to uphold. And so submit, Honorable Speaker. Please, and time is over, don't allow follow-up questions.
Yes, Honorable Ifugui.
Thanks very much, Honorable Speaker and Honorable Nekundi. You see, when we come to this house and pose questions, they are not our questions. It's questions emanating from the masses out there. And we can't come here and then just give political rhetoric answers, just to impress or to make a scapegoat of what the nation wants to hear. The reality is RCC is an entity that needs a very serious, very serious leadership. And in fact, I'm happy that you had a meeting with them day after yesterday. And you were really on them. But then your answers today in regard to what you just said regarding the ideology that we are talking about there, my brother, let's be fair enough and really address this matter on a serious note. Because most of the works are given to foreigners. Go out there. Chinese are busy building our roads. And they are the main contractors. And what are our people doing? It's because we have some shares, it's true. Don't say because people are saying you have some tips that you are getting. It's because it's true that you are having some tips that you are getting out of there. Yes. The reality is that when we are posing these questions, we are not posing for ourselves. We are posing for those that are suffering out there. So thank you, Speaker. Yeah.
The rules, where is that rule on the questions? The rule says that questions are supposed to raise queries in order to get answers. And the questions are not supposed to make insinuations or allegations. And this is not to say that members are not allowed to hold members of parliament accountable, whether it is the non-executive members or it is the executive members whom the assembly has the responsibility and the power to oversee. But the laws are very clear on what the procedures are. And we have established watchdog institutions. So, honorable members, please, that follow-up question of Honorable Ipumbu is completely out of order, and I would want to call upon the members to please not do that. Let's not do that, because otherwise, if we are going to make political statements accusing each other of things that may not be, honorable members, wait up, we are going to normalize corruption. Yeah, because now people are going to think that when somebody say you are corrupt, it's just a saying that politicians throw at each other. So no, wait for me to make a ruling. So we are going to normalize it. And when there is going to be the real corruption, nobody is going to take us serious. Secondly, if there is really corruption, there is the Anti-Corruption Commission. If there is a... Honorable Nashinge, you are the next one I will name, because each and every time you are interrupting the presiding officer. No, that's out of order. That is out of order. So that question is ruled out of order now. The Honorable may answer the other aspects that are not related to that one. But this House is not going to be turned into Anti-Corruption Commission or police. Yeah. Otherwise, if the Honorable has also something to accuse you of, I have no rulings to make on corruption allegations. I only enforce these rules, that's all. So anyone who knows about corruption, go to anti-corruption. So Honorable Nekudi has 2 minutes. If he has something, it's a discretion of the presiding officer. Yes. Otherwise, Honorable Ipumbu will be called to the Privileges Committee to give evidence there. So that Honorable Nekundi can be held accountable. No, please, Honorable members, can you withdraw it? Okay, if you then sit down, let Honorable Nekundi answer. No. Honorable, the rules are saying, the rules are saying, when a matter is put, a member cannot raise another issue before a ruling is made. Now I have made a ruling to give the floor to Honorable.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Yeah. 2 things, Honorable Speaker. Be assured, Honorable Ipumbu, that we are absolutely clear that questions that are coming from members are of public interest. But equally so, we expect the honorable members to appreciate what to be put across for purpose of facts, not for any other reason, Honorable Speaker. In that context, Honorable Speaker, my questions must also be appreciated, and I've been calling on this, including on my brother there, that the questions, when you look at the questions, prior to the question, subsequent questions, there are those political statements that I'm responding to. So let us both sides not throw when we respond is becoming political. So therefore, I hope it's a learning curve. It's a learning curve from that side. The other issue is the leadership and the findings of the auditor's opinions. It's very much serious, and I had a serious meeting. So I was addressing the questions put that the issues pertaining to the subcontractors are foreign. And I have outlined them exactly, Honorable Member, how they are. And I said there are 3 categories. Category 1, there are 31 subcontractors for those roads. They are all locally owned, as per information I have. The only one, as per information I have, is the last category that's called capital projects. There are 5. The 5, the main contractors are foreign owned, locally registered. There's no dispute about that. And we are saying of those 5, there are 90 SMEs, and the 90 SMEs are locally owned. So that is acknowledged. On the issue of local participation and to transform, I said the government is clear, and we are going to transform that perspective. It's much clear. On the other one, I don't want to respond. I believe the member. I believe them. Which one? Which one? I'm saying, the Honorable Speaker, you have, I believe, you have made a ruling on the true we own shares. I think it was maybe also on another note, but otherwise, I think
yes, thank you very much, honorable members. We are now past the knock-off time, but I have to make 2 announcements. The first one is to say that today we answered only 5 questions. Yeah? Today is a Thursday, a day that is dedicated to questions, and we were only able to answer 5 questions. So I would like to, honorable members, I would like to implore the chief whips to please engage one another so that we can find a way that we can do justice to this. Honorable members, okay, wait, let me rule. Yeah, so that we can do justice. And I would like also to highlight the fact that today we had 4 questions asked. So technically speaking, we only reduced this paper by 1 question. 1. Because we answered 5, we put 2 additional 4. So that we need also to consult on the possibility that one day we are going to dedicate that day to answering these questions so that we clear the questions. This is just a statement, it's not a ruling. No, honorable member, wait. Honorable members, no. We are out of the time. We cannot discuss. No, honorable member. The second one is a very somber issue. I was informed that one of our colleagues, Honorable Mbuti Lucia, lost her husband 2 weeks ago. But that information did not reach me. So I did not announce here, and I did not convey our condolences to the family. And I am doing that now, announcing the unfortunate passing of the husband of our colleagues. And I would like to ask that we rise and observe a moment of silence. And I would like to, on behalf of all of us, extend our heartfelt condolences to Honorable Mbuti and her family. Moment of silence. May his soul rest in peace. Now we rise on the rule of automatic adjournment until next week, Tuesday, at 14 hours.